Hey there, big fat welcome back to the channel and another long overdue video from a workshop that's an absolute mess there in the background. If you are a follower of my channel, you'll know that I was in the process of building a new workshop. That has now stopped because we've blown the budget. So we had all sorts of issues and we've blown the budget, so we've had to wait with that. But without talking too much, let's get into today's video and let me show you what I'm going to be doing. Those of you who are subscribers to the channel would have seen one of my previous videos where I built what I called a solar generator, or as some would call it, a battery box. Now I've outgrown that and I've decided to do something a little bit more elaborate, fantastic, whatever you want to call it, and I'm building something totally new. So that's what this video is all about. Let me show you some of the components for the build. Components for the build I bought over time because these things are pretty expensive. Now I plan to put all of these into the box, or some of them into the box. This is your cigarette socket type of fitting. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. All of these things I got from 4x4 Direct, and for the record, 4x4 Direct in Boxburg are not my sponsors. All of these things which I bought are out of my own budget. These things are pretty expensive, so they weren't all bought at the same time. They over several trips to Johannesburg I bought 1 or 2 things. I mean, that's your USB chargers, and it's 5 volt 2.4 amps. You can see there that thing's over 200 bucks. Then there's a volt and amp meter, a digital volt and amp meter, which gives you a reading of your battery, also from 4x4 Direct, and that thing I think as well was like over 200 bucks, or just under 300 bucks or something like that. These I got from Natal Caravan and Marine in Pinetown, and for the record, once again, they are not my sponsor. These also were bought over a couple of visits to them. I popped in yesterday and got 2 of these, and previously I had bought 1 or 2 I think that I had kept. And then the other day I popped over to ACDC down the road. Once again, they do not sponsor me, to get some of these lugs that my brother-in-law gave me. Those are fuse holders, so just protection in line. And then those I got from Galma, who as well are not sponsors. The box needs ventilation, so just some of these to have some air flowing through, and then some little nuts and bolts for the build. So we're going to put all of that, or some of that, as I mentioned, into the build. So let's get into the actual build itself. Oh yeah, this is my solar charge controller, which I've pulled out now out of the other build. So I might incorporate it into this now, or maybe at some other stage. Like all of my builds, they evolve pretty much as I go along, so this one's not going to be any different. So we'll see what happens. Oh yeah, and another oh yeah is another component of the build is this 3mm plexiglass that I'm going to be using to put all of the different sockets onto. I got this from Maisie Plastics, and it's 25mm by a meter, and it cost me about 200 bucks. This build started, or resurrected itself, when I visited my brother-in-law up in Johannesburg. He had some of these UPS batteries lying around in his workshop, where he gave one of them to me with some nice cable that goes along with it. But this thing is a heck of a heavy thing. It's not something that you can just carry around easily. So what I did was I put it into one of these rough tote boxes, and then built a little frame out of angle iron on wheels so that I can push it around, which makes it pretty easy to carry. Oh, you can see this thing is bloody heavy too. It's about 35 kgs odd. Some nice cable there. Here you can see this little frame which I built out of angle iron. a few little wheels also from Galma, and they work pretty well, just to move this box around, and they lockable wheels as well, so I can lock it in place wherever I have it. So I have two options. One is to have the fittings in the lid itself, so kind of drilled and fitted into there around the box. And then the other option is pretty similar to the National Lunar type of battery box, like this in the picture. So essentially what I would do then is to cut out there and create that panel where we can have all of the different fittings in it. So I'm just going to take a few measurements and see which one I'm going to work with. I've decided that I'm going to cut that part out there and do it like the National Lunar type of box. I like that because all of the fittings are in one place. Now just drilling into here and putting fittings around the box would have been much easier, but as you know, this is a die-hard channel and we never ever go for the easy here. So let's go the hard way, but I think it's going to look much better as well. As easy peasy as that. So the plexiglass is going to go in there, the different panels, and starting to look good.
Instrumentals music.
Okay, so I've ditched the idea of having the up and down like the example that I've shown you. It looks very nice, but it was a bit of a mission to try and get this thing cut and get the correct angles for these things to go in. So I'm just going to have it flat like this, and now comes the part where I've got to figure out what's going to go in and where. I had this drawn out before my kitty decided to come and crash the party. Right, so let's just leave her in there. I had this layout drawn out and I'm deciding to change it around a little bit just to make it a little bit more practical. So I'm going to put the volt amp meter there. There's less pushing in and out that's going to happen like it would with the plugs going in and out of the socket. So it puts less pressure on where I've screwed it in there. The Hella type plug will go there. We're going to leave that blank just in case we need another socket at a later stage, and there's more space there for another Anderson plug. I'm putting one in at this stage. So one additional cigarette lighter socket, USB charger, and maybe I might just put another one in there. I don't know, let's see. These are the two flat fuse holders. I'm going to get a DC isolator tomorrow, and then there will be two Anderson plugs coming in there. I'm going to get one in red. That's going to be a hot wire either from the solar panel or the battery charger coming in. So just so that we can differentiate between the two, I'll have two different colors there. We'll leave that blank for whatever, if we need that in the future. So that's now coming to the exciting part where I'm going to start cutting and drilling and fitting all of these in. I've got to make a plan with the Anderson plug. I know I saw a nice video on YouTube. I can't remember whose channel it was, but on how to flush mount Anderson plugs. That was a really excellent video. So I'm going to use that idea to flush mount the Anderson plugs, and then when I come back, you will see that it has all been fitted in. So let's go check it out.
99 instrumental music.
Okay, so this is how I'm going to flush mount this Anderson plug. Basically, it's just a bracket that I'm creating, which will sit like that, and it would allow about that much of the Anderson plug to stick out. Now I went ahead and made one, but I think I've made it a little bit too short, so I'm going to go now and make another one the appropriate size. I think I'll make 3 of them, so 2 for the other 2 Anderson plugs that I'm going to have in there. So let me do that, and it's probably a good thing that I'm not showing you the swearing parts and the blood, sweat, tears and guts and all sorts of things. So let me go and do that. Okay, I've made up 4 blanks now for the brackets for the Anderson plugs. Oh, while I'm stuck in the workshop, the boys look like they're going hunting. Where are you boys going to? What you gonna hunt?
No, ducks.
Ducks. Okay, cool. Watch out for crocodiles, okay? Cool. Alright. Lucky buggers. Okay, so I've made up the blanks and I'm going to drill and bend them, and then we can get to mounting the Anderson plugs. Jeepers, I am so muffed right now. It's not even funny. I've basically done all of that work, and then I was drilling with a bit that was too big, and I've broken this. So it's back to the drawing board, and I've got to start all of this all over again. So what I'm going to do is maybe end this one here. We'll call this part 1, and when I figure out what I'm going to use there, then we'll call that part 2, and I'll show you the finished product. And it's just because I'm a little bit over eager to post a video, because I haven't posted one in such a long time. So let's do that. It's been a while since my last post. Welcome back to the channel, and another one of my videos. Okay, that's not how it is supposed to be. Welcome back to the big fat welcome back to the channel, and another video today. A deep cycle battery with a solar charge controller, and then oh shit, and you know, the panel obviously I plan to have this at the back of my back. So it's going to put less pressure, less pressure, and then decided to change it out a little bit because it wasn't change it around, I meant. Okay, I've made up this floor, four floor.